Once upon a time, in a quiet corner of the metaverse, there was a small planet called Blue. Together with some planetary colleagues, it was circling around a friendly sun. It had acquired quite a pretty moon too. Blue was very beautiful, covered by huge oceans and gorgeous continents all teeming with life. It was a very happy planet. Unfortunately, things didn't stay that way. Blue got infected by terrible parasite. The species was called Greehamyos in honor of its dominant traits: greed, hate, and myopia. Blue could offer little resistance. The Greehamyos spread quickly and took control of the entire biosphere. When it became clear that the parasites would destroy most of the existing ecosystems, the ancient guardians of memories had to act. They held a secret council and decided to send envoys to save the remnants of natural life. As long as there was still a keeper of the songlines alive in a certain region, nature could be restored. Songlines store all the knowledge that is critical to survival. If the song is sung at the right time with the support of the envoys, a door to a tesseract will open. Such a tesseract is in essence a pocket in space-time that is huge in size on the inside, but contained in a small object on the outside. These secret places are safe from the destructive power of the Greehamyos, and at least some natural life can be preserved for better days. The guardians of memories had chosen Alba, the polar bear, and Nova, the swallow, to organize an emergency rescue and to bring a threatened river called Amunay into a wrinkle of space-time. On the ice-capped summits of the sky-high mountains, where the air is crisp and thin, a holy river starts its celestial descent. Born of snowflakes that once adorned the crowns of the ancient peaks, it descends in fluid grace. The first icy trickles grow into silvery threads that are soon woven into rushing rivulets. All around its hidden source, the echoes of ancient tales linger, waiting to be retold by younger generations. Serpentine ribbons of mercurial liquid are cascading down the mountainside. The silence of the eternal summit ice is replaced by a symphony of murmurs echoing through the rugged valleys. Alba, her footsteps blending with the river's rhythmic song, walks in awe along its banks. In the air, Nova dares the river by diving low and catching a drink from a ripple. There is a mystery about rivers that draws us to them, for they rise from hidden places and travel by routes that will not always be there tomorrow. One day the waters, wild and untamed, rush forward like a band of fearless adventurers. The next they might be blocked by an obstacle, and the broad band of liquid silver will be diverted to other lands and its original course reduced to a trickle. Then came the heralds of rejuvenation, like whispers of hope borne on the wind. Tributaries, each a humble envoy of revival, emerged from hidden recesses, weaving through the parched landscape like arteries, breathing life into an ancient heart. Their waters, kissed by the whispers of distant lands, cradled the promise of renewal. The tributaries were sent by the Greehamyos. They were the artisans of transformation, each drop a vessel carrying the elixir of rebirth. As the colourful embraced the barren riverbed, it was as if the very earth exhaled a sigh of relief, inhaling the nectar of potential, and the dry river stirred from its lethargy. The mingling of waters was a pure alchemy, a symphony of liquid harmonies that composed a serenade of resurgence. The once desolate riverbed, now infused with the essence of countless tributaries, began to pulse with the heartbeat of anticipation. In a crescendo of the Greehamyos orchestration, the river found its voice once more. The tributaries, relentless in their pursuit of rejuvenation, bestowed upon the river the gift of new beginnings. This is how the Greehamyos civilization transformed and tamed the wilderness. People were full of joy and thanked their gods for the wonderful new conditions. But for Alba and Nova, the river of the Greehamyos was no source of happiness but caused them the deepest concern. How could they safely traverse this abyss of decay and pollution? How could they find the songkeeper in this labyrinth of ruins, trash and debris? Alba was trying to cross the sewage river by jumping from one garbage island to the next. She carefully balanced her powerful paws the precarious assemblages of refuse. However, as she attempted to leap to another makeshift island, disaster struck. Her left back foot became ensnared in a rusting steel mesh, a hidden hazard lurking beneath the surface of the polluted river. Alba struggled, her other back foot sinking into the muck too, and soon her upper body began to succumb to the sinking embrace of the putrid mud. Despite her formidable strength, she found herself gradually pulled into the depths. Nova, whirling in the air, watched in desperation as her friend became entangled in the clutches of the river's filth. Alba was moving in several directions, but the muck just sucked her deeper in. Frantically searching for a solution, Nova's keen eyes spotted a glimmer of hope amid the debris. She shouted urgently, "Swim backward and then turn!" With determined strokes, Alba propelled herself backward and her foot came free from the steel mesh. She executed a swift turn. There was a rather solid garbage pile floating on the treacherous river. Alba approached it and, with a final surge, she managed to heave her upper body onto the garbage pile. Saved. For a minute, Alba lay panting on the floating refuge. Over the garbage island, Nova circled Alba with evident relief. When Alba got her breath back, she tried to shake the mud off, but to no avail. Her once white fur was now a testament to the extent of the environmental decay surrounding them. She had turned into a brown bear. The two companions were tired, frustrated, and increasingly unsure how to proceed. Even for a strong bear like Alba, the going was tough. And there were more and more Greehamyos in near the river, salvaging what they deemed valuable from the garbage heaps. Nova was warning from the air when she saw groups of Greehamyos, but there were so many, they were hard to avoid. Alba just used whatever cover there was and tried to sneak by the Greehamyos unseen. But soon they reached the river part where its course became increasingly restricted by dams and concrete banks. The settlements of the Greehamyos became dense and crowded. They had reached the outskirts of the great capital. Alba waited hidden in a ditch while Nova flew reconnaissance flights. After nightfall, the bear moved stealthily along the riverbanks, trying to avoid the labyrinthine streets of the great capital. The big city, its grandeur long faded, lay in slumber beneath a cloudy sky. The night was Alba's ally, casting shadows that masked her passage. Once Alba accidentally ran into a group of drunken men, but those thought they had seen a ghost and ran away with eyes wide open. Alba had made it almost through the great capital as dawn approached. Her silhouette painted a shadowy outline against the dimly lit riverbank. Unfortunately, in the twilight, the Greehamyos were emerging from their houses and huts in large numbers. An old man spotted the bear and raised an urgent alarm. Soon, the once silent streets echoed with the cries of warning, and several dozens of Greehamyos armed with makeshift weapons streamed out of their dwellings. The bear started running, but the crowd followed. A furious wave of people wielding sticks and knives was chasing Alba along the river. Alba veered away from the slippery riverbank onto the unpaved streets. This tactical maneuver, however, only exacerbated the situation. From all sides, Greehamyos closed in, converging on the running bear with an unwavering determination. Alba already contemplated to turn and fight when she heard her name called.
Alba, here to the right, be quick!
A small elf with sad eyes waved her. He pointed towards an open sewage channel that led down to the river. Alba needed no further encouragement. With agility unexpected from a creature of her size, she plunged into the murky depths of the channel, the elf following suit. When the angry mob approached the channel, the Greehamyos at the front suddenly slowed down. The clever elf had thrown a large smoke bomb to conceal their escape. An orange fog was rising above the sewage, weaving a disorienting tapestry. Those pursuers who just had been absolutely sure seeing the bear turning to the right were now hesitant where to proceed. But those behind them just kept moving down the street and swept the doubters with them. Alba and the elf rumbled down the channel without meeting further resistance. The orange fog was so thick that Nova had to fly low to keep eye contact with the two others. The noises from the angry crowd fainted in the distance. The elf, his eyes now holding a glimmer of relief, guided the two friends to a concealed alcove behind rotten boards, a sanctuary hidden from the prying eyes above. In their decrepit refuge, the companions waited, hidden in the shadows, until the streets above returned to their routine hum. The great capital, oblivious to the recent disturbance, resumed its daily rhythm. Near the huge city, the once majestic Amunay transformed into a grotesque tableau of ecological decay. Enormous amounts of white foam covered the water's surface, evidence of chemicals dumped into the sewage. This was the most toxic part of the river where only hardy bacterial life could still survive. The elf procured a boat out of a hide to ship Alba across the dangerous foam-leaden stretch. There were still many Greehamyos, but they were not the aggressive type. They solemnly stood in the foam, oblivious to its toxic properties, and prayed to their gods. For them, the Amunay was holy water, even if it was black and poisonous. Finally, the end of the foam was visible. But now, in some places, the river's surface was so clogged with garbage that it resembled a solid pathway rather than a flowing watercourse. One could walk across it, even if one wasn't a deity. When such clogged parts became more frequent, the companions stepped out of the boat and continued on foot. The toxic foam subsided, revealing some pockets of surviving life. They encountered a sickly black fish struggling in a tiny backwater. Acting swiftly, they extracted the poor creature and relocated it to a larger, relatively cleaner body of water. The fish underwent a visible transformation, brightening up its colour and exhibiting signs of improved vigour. After they had said goodbye to their newly found friend, they cautiously continued downriver. Everything became grey for a moment. The water, the land, the sky. They had finally come to the realm of the water nymphs and the frog queen. Only a few nymphs are left, protecting the keeper of the song. The companions met several water nymphs who all seemed sickly and weak, struggling to survive in the midst of pollution and decay. However, as they moved further into the hidden space, conditions slightly improved. The water was a bit clearer here. There were still trees, but they had untimely shed their leaves in the middle of summer. A water nymph of high standing greeted Alba and Nova, and finally introduced them to the Queen of the Frogs. The songkeeper exuded an aura of wisdom that transcended the tangible realm. She already knew everything about the arduous journey of the companions and had long awaited them. She spoke of the urgency to safeguard the remnants of nature within the dying river. Her words painted a poignant picture of their tireless struggle against the encroaching tide of pollution, a battle waged with waning strength and diminishing resources. It was high time to sing the song and bring the river life into a safer world. In the heart of the night, under the shroud of still-living ancient trees, Alba, Nova and their guide waited to meet the Frog Queen in a hidden glade. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth, and the distant murmur of the tainted waters echoed through the silence. The Queen had come without her crown, but appeared to be floating on a vessel of light. As they stood together under a starry night sky, the Frog Queen revealed the mystical nature of the songline. Its ancient echoes would lead them into the river's forgotten past. The Frog Queen sang an enchanting melody that not only unlocked the river's history, but also the collective memories of the companions. Like threads of golden light, their thoughts ascended into the velvety night sky, intertwining with one another and with the river's past. The song strands rose up into the night sky and were woven into a bright star-studded mesh of memories. The magic melody painted the canvas of the night with the vibrant hues of a world long gone. Gavials basked in the sun, fishes danced in silver schools, newts explored the submerged world, and turtles basked on sun-drenched rocks. Water lilies, willows, and irises adorned the riverbanks, creating a lush haven of tranquility. A profound sense of enrichment and energy coursed through the companions. The river's destiny had become intertwined with their own, and they now bore witness to the vibrant tapestry of life that once flourished in the Amunay. Under the guidance of the Frog Queen, all the strands of the songlines joined. They formed an entrance to a tesseract, a pocket in time that was small on the outside, but big on the inside. Inside the tesseract, the river that had languished under the oppressive grip of pollution, brought by the Greehamyos, could once again flow with purity, teeming with life, full of joy. Alba and Nova became part of the scenery, seamlessly woven into the rich tapestry of nature's past. The bear felt the cool embrace of the river, the gentle currents caressing her fur as she swam alongside the water nymphs. The swallow, wings beating with grace, soared through the azure sky. The Frog Queen herself dove with joy in the clear depths of the river. Happiness had returned to the Amunay,